You cannot really do anything. You're unworthy. You don't deserve success. People don't like you. Stop thinking they do. Just listen to me. It's not worth it. You're not worth it. You suck. Does this feel like something you have been going through? If you have, then just please continue watching this video. Hi beautiful souls, I'm Jo and I'm here to inspire and share in hopes of you creating a better relationship with yourself and with your life. So today's video is going to be about the inner critic. The inner critic is not nice to you, okay? Everybody has an inner critic. I learned it at therapy and I realized how much I was actually torturing myself in believing what my mind says about me all the time. First and foremost, I want to tell you that you are not necessarily your thoughts, you know? You're not. Because your mind tells a lot of lies to you every single day. If I would have to believe what my mind says to me every single day, then I would hate myself, you know? And I did hate myself a lot in the past for doing that. So let's just get into it and explain what is the inner critic actually. So first I'm going to explain it, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like in an image. I actually made a drawing about this not long ago. So the inner critic is actually the negative voice inside your head that's always talking bad things about you. I'm not good enough, I can't do this, everybody hates me, nobody will like me, everything won't work out for me, this person probably thinks I'm stupid, and just generally always focusing on the negative. So where does the inner critic actually come from? And like almost always, it kind of comes from childhood. It could be due to trauma, but generally every person really has an inner critic. And actually you would be surprised, but the inner critic is actually there to help you in a way. It has a purpose. So actually its purpose is to keep you safe, you know? Like for example, if you really want to talk to a girl or a guy that you like and you have feelings for them, but then there's a voice inside your head that says, oh no, they will for sure reject me, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve them, then you're not going to take that action. And in doing that, the inner critic thinks it has been protecting you because you did not get rejected. But can you see a little bit how that is holding us back, like a lot? Of course, it's not your fault that you have an inner critic. Like I said, everybody has an inner critic. But it's in the way we respond to the inner critic actually that makes a difference. If we can be aware of our thoughts and when the inner critic is talking, we can kind of create a little distance between ourselves and our thoughts and the inner critic. You don't really have to believe what it says to you. You don't have to let it control your life. Like it likes control because it wants to keep you safe. And in doing everything safe, that usually means taking no risk, not developing, not kind of growing as a person, not stepping out of your comfort zone. It can result in a very passive way of living, which is not always what we want. So actually it's a good idea to see their inner critic as kind of like an annoying friend sometimes, you know. Sometimes you should listen to it, you know, like don't jump in front of a bear, don't jump off a cliff because I want to keep you safe. Like that's good things, it has its purpose. You don't have to completely delete everything, and he will talk throughout your life. Like even I have done the healing work and every day there is still an inner critic within me, but I just chose to respond to it differently. So we don't have to abandon the inner critic. It's just a part of us and it's a voice that will always be there. But I just kind of decided to befriend him. To be like, okay, you're a friend that lives inside my head and who always says a lot of things to me that are most of the time not very useful, but okay, you're here and we're going to work with each other, okay? So actually you're taking your power back in doing that. So let's just get into how the inner critic exactly makes you think all those things that you think. Let's just get into what kind of thoughts the inner critic uses to kind of keep you in a safe position, to keep you in your box from like not doing anything. So some of examples of thought distortions are catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is something that the inner critic really likes because it's also trying to keep you safe. And in doing that, it's going to think about the future. It's very concerned about the future, you know. It doesn't really live in the present moment, and he will be like, or she or it will be like, hey man, don't do this because everything will fall apart. Like all of your plans are going to fail miserably. Don't do this, don't risk it, protect yourself, you know. And it's going to, like, for example, I'm going to travel to America, right? And in the whole process of doing this, I was like really afraid, like, oh, what if they won't let me in for some weird reason? What if this, what if that? Like, what if I get COVID or something and I cannot go? What if I, the what ifs, you know, it's making you sick. It has made me sick as well. It has even gotten to a point to where I was like, maybe I shouldn't travel. Maybe I should just stay here, you know? And you see how that is holding you back. So catastrophizing is one of the favorites of the inner critic to use to keep you safe. But you don't have to listen to that. I'm still going to America, still going to try it. And 9 times out of 10, it's like, it's going to be fine, you know? It's going to be fine. It's just my mind. And it's when you start believing it that it really starts to eat away at your soul. Another thing that the inner critic likes to do is all or nothing thinking, black and white thinking. For example, if you have been rejected by somebody, you might think, oh, everybody will reject me. Everybody, like this one person did it, so now everybody in this whole entire world is going to start abandoning me and is going to reject me and I'm not good enough, and you know how it goes, right? So it doesn't really have much nuance, you know? It's not really based in reality. It's these two extremes, good, bad, all, nothing, black, white. It's just, it wants one thing to be just one thing. It doesn't have nuance. It doesn't take into consideration possibilities, you know? It's just the all or nothing. And this can also really keep you stuck because it's really sad when you always think that, yeah, everybody's going to dislike me now. It's really holding you back because how are you going to reach out to people? How are you going to take an opportunity when it gets there? It's really holding you back. It just wants to protect you, but in this case, it's not really helpful to us. The other thing that the inner critic likes to do is always saying, oh, I should or I must, you know? I must be a very good person. I cannot make mistakes. I shouldn't post that video because it wasn't good enough. I shouldn't talk to that person because he or she is going to reject me. I shouldn't be happy because when I get happy, it seems like other people suffer from my happiness. I shouldn't even begin on writing that paper because it's going to suck anyway and I'm not going to do it. You know, so the I should, I must are also just a tactic of the inner critic to make you stay in your comfort zone. I don't know if you can already see how this actually leads to self-hatred. If you believe these thoughts that you have, if you believe the inner critic, you will literally be very passive in life. You will really doubt yourself after a while, because if you believe it's true, then your reality will be like that, because we kind of create our own realities, you know, and if what you focus on grows, basically. That's just the thing. And I know it can feel kind of fake to change these thoughts, but I can promise you, I did it even though I didn't believe it. I just tried it because I was like, I don't really have anything to lose at this point, so let's just kind of fake it, you know? And it did feel like faking at first, but unbelievably, my patterns changed. My thought patterns were changing. It's kind of a habit that you have to practice even though you don't like it. It takes a long time before your brain is like, oh, okay, I'm going to start thinking in this other way automatically. And not even that, like your inner critic will bother you many times. It will keep testing and testing you. You know, it's a human thing. We tend to escape from what's painful to us or what could be painful to us. We focus on that more instead of what could potentially go right, go good. So don't be tricked by this, because you're only seeing one side of the story and it's often very negative. But there's also another side to this whole story. So that's why I'm telling you about this inner critic guy. So that brings me to the next thought that your inner critic will try to make you believe. And that's actually just to dismiss the positive altogether. For example, if somebody gave you a compliment on your hair, like, oh, your hair looks so beautiful, like, yeah, you're really looking good right now, and yeah, you're just basically the sun. I don't know why I said that. It didn't sound good. In Dutch there is a saying for it. Je bent echt het zonnetje in huis. That's what we say, but literally translated, it's like you are the sun in the house. I don't know if that sounds weird to you guys. Okay, whatever, sidetrack. So basically it's going to try to tell you like, oh, she probably didn't mean that. Oh, that's probably a lie. She's just saying that because she's people pleasing, or she's just saying that because she wants me to have her on her good side, because she wants something out of me, you know? It's like you're trying to read people's thoughts, you know? And sometimes you just really gotta be open to receive a compliment, you know? You're really like, most people, there are some people who are evil like that, but most people are not. And this is the nuance, you know? It's not all or nothing. It's just some people exactly give you compliments to get something out of you, but most people don't do that. Most people say things out of their hearts, or at least that's what I've experienced in this life. Your inner critic could also be generalizing a lot of things. It's kind of, it all comes down to the same stuff, you know? Like, I could also give the example of like, imagine you were bullied at high school because you had ginger hair, for example. Now you will generalize that experience and think that everybody hates ginger hair. But that's not really the truth at all. There's people that really love ginger hair. Like, I love it. I love it. I think it shows so much warmth, character. So not everybody is going to think that. You're focusing on the negative experiences and generalizing them over your whole life, which is, of course, very damaging to your self-esteem, and which also makes you hate yourself after a while. So that wasn't my explanation for how the inner critic operates and what the inner critic is. And in this video, I want to leave you with just kind of try to be aware of these thoughts, because sometimes they happen. They're so automatic, you cannot really catch them, you know? But just really try to observe when you have these thoughts. Just be aware of them. And in the next video, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks, some techniques to actually battle the inner critic. How to make it not matter as much as it normally would to you. So please subscribe if you want to see another video like this, and ring the bell icon to get an update on when I post that video. I hope you already enjoyed this explanation of the inner critic. I hope you will not take your thoughts as seriously right now, if that's possible. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching this video.